dildos of my size. Big mistake. Turns out mine is, quote, smaller than expected. Didn't we do the math before? Isn't it like one or two out of 1,000 men have a micro penis?
What the fuck? What?
See, we've talked about micro penises before, right?
Yeah, it's just like blood vessels, right? It's like a little tube down the middle and then just blood vessels all around it, right? Is that what a penis is?
Yeah, ever have dick?
Am I going to prolapse myself trying this at the moment? Like, what do I do?
Nothing. You suck dick.
I don't want to feel it. I'm good.
Oh, come on. Like, I'm naked. My balls are exposed.
All right, I'll do it.
I feel good.
Yeah?
And I think you're super cute.
The blowjob's that good.
I want to see something cooler, bro.
Horsecocks and pictures of children naked.
Yeah, us gay guys, sex with children isn't always bad. Somebody had sex with me when I was 13 and he was an adult and I liked it.
I feel like just a little bit bad for even being in the situation, I guess.
Is your penis the key?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It feels so good.
It's so good.
Are you okay, Jackson? Should have gone to church instead of gooning to cuckold porn that much. That's
Greatest feeling ever.
Hello, welcome to the official podcast.
Hello. The unnamed fifth member of our show, who's a random woman that moans, is my favorite part of this show. Always has been.
Yeah, she's a big fan of what happened. I don't know how they got uncensored, audio recording of us, Kaya, and what we do at night, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Jesus
I'm not
Christ.
liking this revenge porn.
Should be illegal.
This is revenge porn. And uploaded by Coffee Running Gambit on our Reddit. So thank you for this clip. It made us all smile very happily when we listened
all the
to
comments. All the comments are like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Please seek help." Because I that's what always amazes me about clips like that is someone had to comb through a bunch of audio to like combine it all together, like splice it all together.
No, they didn't. That verbatim happened last episode.
Well, no, it's impressive that they were able to put a wiretap in both in our houses and listen to us all night.
Right.
Without us noticing. It's
That's
very
the
interesting.
iPhone for you. That's the new iPhone. It just does that automatically.
Yeah, but very
It's
funny.
even more impressive. They had to hack Apple. Well, that was fun. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
We are... What is this episode? 425 of the official podcast. I'm Kaya, as always. With me is Andrew and
Hello.
our good friend Jackson Clarke, who has at least half a cup of plastic in his brain, I've learned, in the past few days.
Still don't know what a penis is.
At all?
Let's
Still
talk about
doesn't know
what.
what a penis is. The plastic in all our brains.
Yeah, that's fucking wild. You showed me a study, I think it was 2 days ago, that we all have, brains are being autopsied at the moment and have been shown to have a full teaspoon of microplastics in them on average. Was it a teaspoon or a tablespoon? Because that is a big difference.
Let's see. Have you seen this, Andrew?
No, not at
This
all.
upset me a little. Well, it says new study finds entire spoonful of microplastics in people's brains, and
What
3 times
spoon?
as much as.
Wait! I didn't pick up on that. What spoon? There's so many different types of spoons. Could be a ladle.
Oh God.
It could be
I'm
the
trying to
ones
look
that
for a
got
number.
churned butter
Okay.
with.
On average, the brain sample study contained about 7 grams of microplastics, roughly the
That's a
weight of
lot.
an average plastic spoon. Oh, they meant the spoon itself. There's
Holy
a plastic
fuck!
spoon lodged in our brain.
Oh, that's so
Wait.
much worse. Not just
What-
the
wait.
filling of the spoon, but the
Yeah, wait, why did they-
whole spoon.
Why did they use spoon as a measurement then? What's the point of
I
using
don't know.
spoon as a measurement? Use something else.
To make matters worse, the study also found up to 10 times the amount of microplastics in the brains of 12 dementia patients compared to healthy brains. So I guess if you have that makes
Wow.
sense. If you have like 12 plastic forks stuck in your fucking brain, like a whole cutlery set for picnic, yeah, you're gonna have dementia.
Well, the consensus of that is that microplastics in your brain, and shocking, shocking enough. I don't know how this wasn't already known, but microplastics in your brain lead to your mental faculties declining or the symptoms being dementia-like, right? That's what the consensus of that really leads to, you thinking, right?
I would imagine. Yeah.
So-
I mean, you can't just put a whole Funko Pop in your brain without going insane. You know
But
what
then,
I mean?
so I mean, they're finding, the scientists and studies are finding that all of us have a spoon in our brain full of microplastics, and mental illness, diseases have risen significantly over the last few decades. Is that the prevailing cause of all of us really having some form of mental, difficulty?
Well, that's only if you have some form of mental difficulty. I don't. I'm perfectly smart, healthy, capable, and intelligent. But you, Jackson, might be able to speak for the larger population. I don't know.
Is extreme ego mental faculty?
No, you shut up. You stop talking. Shut up,
Well, maybe
plastic
Andrew
boy.
needed the spoon. Maybe Andrew just set like a spoon-shaped hole
You know what
in
happened?
his brain.
You know what
his
happened?
entire
Jackson has the microplastic spoon in his brain. I pulled that spoon out and I started eating up life with it. I didn't have the spoon in my brain. I used it as a tool to carve my path forward. And you know what?
Oh, like cavemen.
Yeah, like a caveman banging a rock against a sharper rock. And you know what? I think I'm in favor of these microplastics in our brain, because as I'm scrolling through these different articles, there's a lot of articles on this where it's like, oh, we found a spoon, here's all the microplastics in the brain, we categorize them, blah, blah, blah. Every photo that they use of these microplastics is the most delightful and appealing thing I've ever seen. They make them look like confetti. They have a whole rainbow of colors of these plastics. They lay them out all pretty and like high fidelity photos, Make these look scary if they're bad, and they are. They obviously are. Make them photograph like fucking serial killers on the news or bad history photos, Make them black and white vignettes, scary,
like a blown up microplastic hiding in the shadows behind like an innocent woman trying to flee for her life from it.
Exactly.
Something terrifying.
Yeah.
When you're wearing your like gym shoes and you're playing like a basketball or something, and you leave a really nasty rubber skid mark on the floor, that's basically in our brain, right? Use that.
That is so abstract. If I see a fucking article and the picture is that, like a fucking skid mark on some basketball court, and the headline is microplastics in your brain, I'd be so fucking confused.
Well, AI it onto your brain.
It's still kind of stupidly done, though, because the initial report was, oh, there's a spoonful of microplastics in our brain, and it's, no, we mean the actual spoon. Like, people are going to think like we did. Like, a spoonful of plastics, not the spoon
I don't
itself.
know why they use that. I don't know why they use that measurement, because it immediately concocts like spoonful is a measurement in of itself, right? You don't use spoon
because
as
they
the
also
measurement.
use you have to keep in mind they also use like Toyotas as a measurement for meteors.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And they so I'm reading the articles, and the exact wording they use is spoon's worth, which I guess is not spoonful, but every human being is going to think, oh, like a scoop of microplastics,
Is it less attractive in a headline if you just say 7 grams of microplastic?
Well, Americans don't use metrics, so the instant you say grams, we're tuning out. We don't give a fuck.
That's right. You use ounces.
0.001 pounds of microplastics or whatever.
So far, we also know that microplastics have been found in blood, in balls, in your testicles.
Yeah, my nuts are full of
breast tissue, in breast milk. So little babies are getting it. Thankfully, there's no child left behind.
Does that mean
plastic maxing the whole fucking species?
If our nuts are full of microplastics, do they just swim alongside our little sperm friends? Or
you might one day, Jackson, give birth to a plastic baby. They'll just come out fully recycled.
I might give birth to a
rubber doll.
A giant spoon.
A spoon's worth of baby. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so does that mean if you nut inside a woman, then they also have vaginas full of microplastics then too? What can that do to like fertility and stuff? How much of us are microplastics now?
What percent? Like what percent were water? What percent were plastic? I don't know.
Our brain is just 7 grams. What's the rest of us? How much microplastic? Like if you took all the microplastic from inside my body now and piled it up, I wonder how much there would be.
Ooh, that would be such a cool novelty item. Like if you could go into a shop and they just somehow vacuum all the plastic out of you and make you like a little trinket from it.
Is there a version of magnets but for plastic?
You know how You know how some weirdos keep the placenta after birth or all those like little birth milestone things? Can we get like a vial of the microplastics that were found in my woman's vagina when she gives birth as like a memento of like, look, honey, this came out of you. What a nice day. It was a good time.
Ew.
You can reforge all the plastic into something cool, something to remember the day.
Yeah,
by.
Recycle it into a spoon, and that's our baby spoon. That's the new tradition, like how you bronze baby
like a
shoes. You got the baby
pacifier.
spoon.
Yeah, that's so cute. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Why do women fucking tear into the placenta like werewolves? What do you do with that? Is it just nutrition?
I don't know, man.
They don't like eat it itself. I'm pretty sure they put it in a pan and dry it and turn it into like powder and then put it into pills. I don't really know what the point is. I think it's the same reason that like Chinese people eat rhino horns. It's just pseudoscience, I'm pretty sure.
Aphrodisiac? I don't think it's an aphrodisiac.
Maybe?
No, I think it's
I don't
just
know.
like, I think that it's like recycling, I think. They're just like putting the nutrients back in them. I think that's the idea.
I found
Eat a
a little
That's what I'd
wife mother blog, and they're talking about placenta encapsulation, which is where you do dry out and powder up the placenta, but then you put it in those little pill capsules and you take it over time. Now, as for the reason to do that, it straight up says there's little evidence in doing this, so
Yeah.
you know, do it if you want, I
But
guess.
it's not uncommon. Like, I've heard of people doing it quite often, like stories and stuff.
Yeah,
from
me
people.
too.
So
Apparently it's called placentophagy. And the evidence is inconclusive. Health experts advise that if a woman is considering this practice, she should do so under proper guidance.
it was like a
I
placenta.
mean, my guidance would be don't.
What do you call the wine people who come around and like offer up the pairings and stuff? Like a placenta sommelier or whatever.
Sommelier.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so gross.
This is a fine Korean woman placenta, and it'll pair greatly with your steak, sir.
How does this not count as cannibalism? Because you are eating a byproduct of the human body.
It is.
No. I think that's kind of a silly thing to say, because if that's true, then drinking breast milk is cannibalism. Eating parts of people is not eating people.
I disagree. Placenta is flesh, though.
So?
And breast milk is yummy.
You can eat someone's umbilical cord. Is that cannibalism?
Yeah. I would count that as cannibalism.
No, I'm on your team now. You're right. Fuck.
Where's the line drawn for you then, Andrew?
My point is, I think cannibalism is eating like the entity of a person, like consuming a human being, whereas parts of a human being, once they're removed from the human, does not count. So if someone gives me like half of their liver, then that's fine. Maybe not fine.
You're sounding like a cannibal right now, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. What? Okay, so that means I could cut off both of your legs and your arms, but you're still like a stump with a head. You're like a chicken nugget.
Sure.
Like a torso. That's not cannibalism because most of your body is still attached
In my
to your head.
mind, in my brain, let me try to fucking save this goddamn sinking ship. In my mind, whether or not this is correct, cannibalism is non-consensual. So if I say to you, Kaya, here, take my arm, and I hack it off, and I fry it up with some nice fucking seasoning, little salt, little pepper, garlic powder, make some shallots, roasted potatoes, asparagus, and I give it to you on a plate, that's fine. But if you cut my arm off and eat it, that's cannibalism. That's where I'm like, whoa, don't do that, you know? Maybe I'm using the wrong definition, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm okay with eating body parts consensually as opposed to non-consensually. If people want to.
Well,
that's up to
I would
them.
also draw a difference between consensual eating of someone and not. There was was it a Japanese or Chinese artist who like cut off his own balls and served them? As part of like
there was a guy who met another guy on Craigslist and he wanted to be cannibalized. I think we talked about it a long time ago.
But see, that's consent. That's the consent you're talking about, but that still counts as cannibalism. See, I think you're applying like motive or human, emotions or rationality to the act of cannibalism. Cannibalism is just a word that means the act of eating one's own species, basically, just in general. Yeah. So no matter what, there's no kind of like social definition there. That's just a pure scientific term meaning consuming species flesh, basically, own species flesh. So I think,
Mhm.
so I still think eating your placenta counts as cannibalism. So we have a lot of cannibals out there, in my eyes.
Okay, so I'm reading a thread on cannibalism and placenta eating, and they bring up a couple good points. Now here's the point I was trying to make. Someone said, think of the placenta like eggs or honey. You're not eating the person, you're eating a byproduct of the person. The same way that a vegetarian would still eat honey or eggs.
I'll give you the breast milk one. Like, that's clearly a byproduct
Or breast
of
milk,
the human
right.
body. Because nothing was removed in the process, but the placenta is removed from the body. Like, that's
but it's
a human
naturally
organ, basically.
removed. It's going to come out. You know, it's
but if
like
you're
an egg.
if your like leg naturally popped off your body and I ate it, that'd still be cannibalism.
Here, Kaya, you look famished. Eat this. Pop.
Okay, if you saw a chicken pecking at an egg, you'd be like, "Oh, look at this little dummy. Who's a little cannibal?" Yes, you are. You know, you'd still
true.
be making jokes about him eating himself.
Okay,
or
but
his own
how about
species.
honey?
That's a good point. Yeah,
But how
yeah,
about
yeah.
honey? Because an egg will grow into a full chicken, right? But honey is just honey. It just is. It's just sugar.
Yeah.
If you saw bees eating their own honey, would you be like, that's cannibalism?
Well, if I saw
No, because-
if I saw a human drinking someone's blood, I wouldn't call them a cannibal. I'd call them like a vampire or something, but not a cannibal. Like there's
Yeah,
It's not-
It's weird, isn't it?
it's the flesh, the fleshy parts, or some kind of like physical. I guess blood is a physical. I don't know where the fucking line is drawn. I don't
Yeah,
know.
where is the line? Is a good question.
Isn't honey just bees chewing shit up and vomiting it? That doesn't even come from their
And
bodies, does it?
here's another point that they make that goes along with what I'm saying now: is biting your own fingernails and eating them, or eating your own boogers, cannibalism?
Yes.
Well, then feeding a woman your cum is cannibalism.
Yeah, well, I was
exactly.
gonna say
Where's the
that
line?
next.
Kaya's on the
Why'd
right
you say
track.
it like
Where's
that?
the line?
Why'd you say feeding a girl cum? Like that's such a fucking weird way of
That's the only way
saying
people
that.
do that, by the way. They put it in a cup and then they feed it
Yeah.
to them.
Dinner served,
It's a
honey.
feast, Jackson.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
but
gonna serve.
Weird way of
that's
saying
a
it.
great question. You know, is getting your dick sucked and coming down her throat, is that cannibalism for her? It's a line. You know, I think eating a placenta is fine because to me, it's just another byproduct of a person. You know,
Well, I definitely think drinking cum is mass murder. Think of all those souls lost. Doesn't matter if it's cannibalism or not. I'm aiming higher on the scale of horrible things here. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a. I think the fingernail one is a really interesting kind of thought process or hypothetical there, because it is like I wouldn't count that in the same vein as like what do you call it, like blood or breast milk.
right?
Although
think
should I?
people that eat
Because
their
it's
nails, they don't swallow it, do they? They spit it out.
Some people might. I know people who eat like their boogers as a kid and swallow it. Of course, that's a very common thing.
Well, yeah.
I,
just
in
didn't
my
know they also
mind,
swallowed their nails.
in my mind, I think this is kind of a philosophical idea where your personal line is. You know, like with eating animals for me, what do you consider ethical? Like people in America don't eat dogs, but they do in other countries. And in India, people don't typically eat cows, but we eat
just
cows.
said the word. You just said the word. Okay.
What?
I think it's meat. If it's meat, some kind of meat, then
Then it's cannibalism. Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
In my mind, if it is willingly exercised from the body, then it is okay. It's not cannibalism. A placenta a woman gives birth to, that's great. If I remove my own organs or limbs and give them, that's totally fine. Cum, boogers, blood, any of that, totally fine. It's when you take it from someone that I'm like, well, don't do that. That's too far.
Well, yeah,
Going too
obviously,
far.
we're all like pro-consent cannibals here.
Yeah.
Like, you got to ask first. But I'm just talking about the actual technical definition, like narrowing it down.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Andrew,
Mm.
to go along with your hypothesis, if I forcibly like cut your fingernails and then eat it,
That's so rude. Why would you do
like
that?
you're like,
I
no,
don't like
please
that."
stop. I like my fingernails the way like they are. Please stop. And I'm
My
there
back
with
scratchers, no.
I'm there with a nail clipper, just menacingly cutting them off and then chewing on them.
Okay, so finish
What do
your
you do?
thought. All you said was, if I clip your nails and eat them, okay. And what about it?
So that's not cannibalism even still then.
No.
No, because I do think you have a very good point with meat. I think if you somehow steal my cum or boogers or nails or any of those, it's like, okay, fine. But if you take part of my liver or a limb, then yeah, that is definitely cannibalism. So
Okay.
I
Like,
think
if
with
someone
meat, you had a
posted
very
the
good point.
Wikipedia definition here: consumption of flesh, including organ meat such as heart or liver. This
So
is
then
from
it is meat.
auto-cannibalism, by the way.
Yeah, mate.
Self-cannibalism and autosarcophagy is the practice of eating one's own body. Generally, only the consumption of flesh by an individual of the same species is considered cannibalism. Yeah, I guess like poo, piss, and cum, spit, that
Yeah.
doesn't count.
Jackson, you
that
are
makes
more
sense.
than welcome to eat all of my fingernails, poop, piss, cum, vomit, any of those you want. Let me know. I will mail them to you and watch.
Perfect. I'm glad that we've come to an agreement, and I don't have to feel bad about it. As soon as you apply cannibalism to it, that's when I would have felt bad. But now, perfectly fine.
You have my consent for all of those. That's right.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, neat. This article has like history on self-cannibalism. Elizabeth Bell Horry may have forced some of her servants to eat their own flesh.
Ooh,
It's neat. She was like the Hannibal of her time.
I'm going to write this down.
She allegedly forced some of her servants to eat their own flesh in the early 17th century during the violence that followed the 1991 Haitian coup. Victims sometimes had to eat their own hacked off body parts. In the 1990s, the young people in Uganda were first forced to eat their own ears. Ugh, ears would be so chewy too.
When?
1990s. Yeah.
Oh, that's
1990s
good. That
in
wasn't.
Uganda.
Yeah, that was the
That wasn't
cannibalism
recent
trend.
at all. Oh man. Do you
Oh,
think-
look at this. Look at what's mentioned here. Eating one own's placenta has a small following in Western cultures, fostered by celebrities like January Jones. Who the fuck is that?
she loves placenta?
Anyway, it's listed under. While the status of placentophagy as cannibalism is debated, Harriet Hall has pointed out that placental tissue is mainly derived from the fertilized egg and carries the fetus's genome. Wait, so it's like eating another person. So that is cannibalism then.
Yeah,
I would say borders on it for sure.
it's on the list of auto cannibalism. So
Yeah. I'm
Got it.
okay with it. You know, it's just there. Like you get rid of it regardless. If no
Yeah, it
one's going to
doesn't
eat
hurt
that,
anyone.
I will. You know, but if you're saying in terms of definitions of cannibalism, I could see the argument for both sides for sure.
If I was reading, you know, those old fucking technical books from the 90s, I think they were like the Idiot's Guide to, and then there was a subject like Idiot's Guide to Programming or
the
whatever.
big yellow books with the guy with the
Yeah.
round glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to read them a lot for
you
some
mean-
fucking reason.
For dummies? Do you mean those?
Yeah, for dummies.
Cannibalism for
I'm pretty
dummies.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those books are
If I was
actually
reading-
good.
If I was reading Cannibalism for Dummies, I reckon that would be like step number one is just try it with the placenta first, because it's like a more friendly way of getting into the whole scene and making sure that you're cool with it. And it doesn't hurt anyone. You're not removing anything that's going to be permanently affecting you or anyone. So it's like it's like the best version of cannibalism, but still cannibalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
pinky.
ultimate thought. Well, no,
If
you need
you,
to.
Would you guys try if in an accident, like you get your leg stuck in an accident, they have to cut it off? Like a
Like
car
what, like-
crash.
So if I'm like 127 hours, I have to like cut my own limb off. Would I eat it to survive
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah,
to
would you like
survive,
bring
yeah.
it with you?
I mean, I would
Like you put
definitely
it in a bag with ice and, you bring it into the ER and you're like, can you sew it back on? And they tell you, you're retarded. This isn't the movies. That's not how it works. But we can fry it for you. Would you go, I mean, I'll settle for that, I guess.
No, well, if to survive, yes, I would. I'm not gonna just do it while I'm at a hospital with a cafeteria.
I'll take the other angle. If I knew it was medically safe, like it's not going to infect my blood,
Yeah.
or
Well, it's full of
or-
microplastics.
or full of microplastics, or I know, for example, eating brains can give you like mad cow disease and other shit, like really
Oh,
bad
yeah.
stuff.
Prion
If the doctor said,
diseases.
"Listen, we fry it in the medical air fryer, it removes all impurities, it's perfectly
Medical
safe."
air fryer in the
I'll
OR.
crisp
Yeah,
it up
in the OR.
nicely for you.
You got to have one on standby. Warm up those heart transplants. So if he said that to
They
me,
like do the whole scrubbing sequence of washing their hands and arms just to stir fry you fucking meat.
They
Oh,
put a
but what
meat
it- what-
thermometer in it and they check that it's at 350 for at least 2 minutes. You know, that kind of shit.
Tender- Tenderize it.
Medium rare.
Can I get my arm medium rare, please? Can I have a little bit of the fingers for tartare as an appetizer? But no, if that was the case, if they came to me and said, yeah, it's completely medically pasteurized, it's safe, I'd 100% try it. Why not? When else am I going to get the opportunity? Of course.
what I'd be curious about is the psychology behind it. Like, would you have the what's it called, the phantom limb thing, where
Phantom
like
limb.
they're cooking,
Yeah, phantom pain.
So they're cooking it up. They've got your leg in the air fryer or in the pan or whatever, searing it up, and you can still feel that pain. I'd be terrified of that.
Maybe you have to just close your eyes when they're cooking it and not be told when they're actually cooking it. They just have to surprise you with a big cooked arm.
Yeah, but with the phantom limb pain or whatever, I don't know how that works, but maybe you still feel it through the spiritual world or something. And
From what I've read,
how you'd know.
From what I've read, it's deeply associated with the trauma of losing the limb. So I don't think the cooking it would hurt you. I think it would be how they remove it. So like if a big guy with an executioner hood comes into the OR with a big blade and hacks it off real quick, you'd probably still feel like that cutting in your arm as opposed to the cooking part, you know?
Oh, but probably because it's like the last recorded sensation there, and the brain doesn't know what to do like beyond that. It's like just looping.
That's what I would think.
But I feel like that people that get like proper surgery still get phantom pain, though. I don't know. That would suck if you could actually feel it, like getting minced and stir fried with like carrots and shit. That would suck.
If you guys want more, if you want more in-depth research, I can recommend Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain by Hideo Kojima. He will cover that question and more in that game, if you will.
What the phantom pain aspect of it, or the placenta eating part?
Both, knowing Kojima.
What do you think would happen to you? Do you guys ever hear of this like anecdotal myth that some people recipients of transplants will say that they somehow can sense memories of the person whose organ they received?
Hogswash. Like it's the microplastics playing tricks on their minds.
It's the microplastic biomes not agreeing with each other.
Yeah.
Like maybe the plastics just snap together like Legos somehow in your body. Could be.
That could be a genius sci-fi plot where they transfer brains into a guy's head so he can remember crime scenes and solve mysteries that way.
Oh, that would be cool. But then he loses himself in the process.
Yeah, that's an actually good plot. I bet there's a Philip K. Dick novel all about it. Goddamn.
Yeah,
I'd read
about the theme or the idea is about losing yourself in the pursuit of justice or in your work or something. Like every single time he takes on a new case, he loses memories of his daughter or something.
He's in the future, so he's awake during surgery because it's instant. And he's like, I need more minds, damn it. I'm so close to solving a murder. And they're like, you've had too many. You're 12 brains deep. No, damn it. More.
Give me a foot.
Are they attached in his brain, or are they just attached to his body in different parts of his body?
So it's the future, so they're just putting little like electrodes in him all over his body, and they represent a whole brain.
It's like Kirby. He just sucks them up and gains their memories.
I need another mind. Whee! He sucks it off the table.
Okay. Listen to this.
Wait, Kaya. Real quick before we move on, just a quick word from this episode sponsors who make this show possible. So thank you very much, sponsors. Here they are. It's time to talk about incredible audio, and that's the category that our friends over at Turtle Beach excel at the most. They've been making boys into gamers since, well, for as long as I can remember. They've been around forever, delivering exceptional audio hardware for gamers since, basically for as long as I remember. I remember dominating in SWAT in the pit on Halo 3, if you guys remember that map. My kill streak only ending because that one guy I knew for a fact was wearing a Turtle Beach headset and he domed me from across the map before I even knew where I was. So that guy was playing on a different level, and that's because of Turtle Beach. But that was at least 15 years ago we're talking about right now, and that's where Turtle Beach's new Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset picks up the mantle and continues their audio domination. These are the bad boys you're going to want to rock if you're playing some competitive games on your console of choice, your PlayStation 5s, your Xbox. It's compatible with all of them, as well as PC. They provide crystal clear sound so clear that you'll be hearing the thoughts of the gamers you've dominated. Not just this, these bad boys are, as well, very comfortable. You'll forget you're even wearing them within 5 minutes of putting them on. They've been designed for your head. When you put them on, it'll be like you're sitting on a cloud, a cloud that'll sound so beautiful due to that crystal clear audio as well. It's going to be fantastic. Those Fortnite victory royales will come so easily, trust me. And the best part, the Stealth 700 has an insane 80-hour battery life with quick charge, so you can game all night long for 4 days straight if you want before you need to recharge. I don't recommend that, but hey, you can. It's your life, do what you want. So this winter, forget the cold, grab your Turtle Beach Gen 3 Stealth 700 and level up your gaming experience. Head to turtlebeach.com and use code OFFICIAL, that's the name of the show, for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your entire order at turtlebeach.com with promo code OFFICIAL. You should know that code by now. We've had the same one for 8 years, so it's official. It's still official. turtlebeach.com/official. Thanks, Turtle Beach. Check them out. Support the show. Links below. It helps a lot. It helps so much. So thank you very much if you do check out any of our sponsors, including Turtle Beach. Thank you very much, and thank you to Turtle Beach. Now, over to Andrew.
Me. That's my old-timey cartoony snoring that you will never be hearing again. Because I sleep on a Helix mattress now, and that thing has improved my sleep quality immensely. If you want to sleep like a king that dreams about sleeping even better, Helix mattress has got you covered. If you're feeling some things like night sweats, back pain, motion transfer, all sorts of stuff that people don't like when they're sleeping alone or with a dog or with their lover or with their dog who happens to be their lover, Helix can help with those potentially by giving you a comfortable, nice little dreamy time. I heard about Helix from our own show actually and decided that it was a good time to upgrade the mattress that I've been on. Got my new one. It's one of those cool models that helps keep you cool as you sleep because God does it get hot here and I am one hot little man. Absolutely comfortable, absolutely worth it. And if you go to helixsleep.com/official, you can get 20% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with a mattress purchase. That's 20% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows at helixsleep.com/official with any mattress purchase. Do you want to sleep like a champion who beats all those kings that dream about sleeping better? helixsleep.com/official.
Okay, Kaya, you were going to tell me something.
Well, listen to this. McConnell's flatworm experiments. In the 1950s to 60s, psychologist James V. McConnell trained planarian flatworms to respond to certain stimuli, e.g. lights paired with a shock. Planarians can regenerate their heads if decapitated, and some published results suggested that regenerated worms sometimes appear to retain certain learned responses. Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still
Imagine
the
if you
same.
could just get decapitated. Yeah.
So there's still the same worm. I don't know how worms work.
Yeah.
Worms really freak me out. I think worms are the freakiest fucking motherfuckers on this planet. They're the most intrinsically alien creatures I think we have.
Listen to this. The more sensational claim that feeding trained planarians to untrained ones transferred the memory was reported but never gained solid scientific acceptance. Attempts to replicate it in other labs had very mixed results. Well, mixed means that it worked sometimes, right?
Well, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that it worked. It means it came up with different outcomes.
I want to believe.
Fuck
what do you want to believe,
man?
Just that if we're ever decapitated, we can retain our knowledge somehow?
That you can eat someone's remains and gain their memories, that would be kind of useful, wouldn't it? Like if your uncle dies without telling you the combination to the safe.
The problem is, though, it seems that the animal kingdom, as the organisms get more advanced, they lose their cool superpowers. Like water bears, these microscopic little fucking creatures can live in the vacuum of space and all sorts of other shit. But I bet you if you grew them to the size of us, it just wouldn't work. Something would change in the physics where they just couldn't survive in space anymore. You know?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck, Mother Nature? You can make us so cool, but you kind of give up as things get bigger. It's stupid. Jackson.
Yeah.
Jackson.
I'm going to cut your head off.
Okay.
At what point?
And I'm going to eat you.
And Kaya's going to eat your organs. So I'm going to cut your head off to make sure you retain the memory of that. And Kaya's going to eat your organs. How much of your body could you lose and be kept medically alive before you said, no, fuck it, just kill me. I'm done. Like, could you be like eyeballs floating in a jar and live a happy, comfortable life? Would you be okay with that?
No, I would need movement. I would need the freedom of movement in order. I feel like...
What if we can stimulate the movements. Like we zap your brain and it feels like wind on your skin.
Yeah, what if you have all the so you're hooked into like Skyrim VR on the Quest 3 and your little eyeball is in a jar. They can like feel the game, move in the game, do everything. Like you're in the game, but you are always aware that you are just eyeballs in a jar.
Oh, well then no,
you're in a game,
absolutely
it's
not.
not real, all that
Like
shit.
a lucid dream.
I could see the argument if I believe that if I truly believe that I was living in a world, because then, you know, whatever, I've tricked myself
You
into
just want
believing.
the
But
Matrix then.
if I was aware that I was just a fucking like eyeball in a jar somewhere, then no, that would be too much for me. I think realistically, like if you remove both of my legs or both of my arms, no,
Mhm.
probably just both my legs. I think I could do without my arms. If you remove both my legs, I think that's my line. And it's
No, see, I'm the exact opposite, man. I would so much rather lose my legs before my arms. You use your hands for fucking everything. Meanwhile, you can get prosthetic legs, and they're functionally the same. You know?
Yeah. Well, depends on where your legs are cut off, I guess. Like if it's under the knee joint, it's easier. I
All
would
right,
also
Jackson.
rather keep my arms though.
Yeah,
Jackson,
yeah.
you lose your
I was
legs
wrong.
at the hip joint. Both your legs are gone. And the way that you sit now in chairs, your dick and balls just dangle exposed, just unprotected, no real angling to get them out of the way of when you sit. So you're constantly sitting on your dick and balls. Do you think you would take a risky, potentially painful prosthetic to stop that from happening?
Oh, like a leg prosthetic to stop it from happening?
So yeah, like little props so that when you sit down, you sit on those instead of sitting directly on your dick and balls like normal.
So sitting down hurts my dick and balls. It's not just that they're dangling.
Yeah, imagine like, you know, you lose both your legs at the hip, so the angle of which you sit down from now on is directly on your dick and balls. And the doctor says, well, we can give you a prosthetic to prevent that from happening, but it's not comfortable. It's
Can't I just get
experimental.
like, not to ruin your like hypothetical here, but can't I just get like a cup or a like a cock cage or
No,
something?
that's stupid. No.
Or a little cushion?
No.
Cage.
No,
Like,
you can't
like
have
a
one of
little
those. No.
gimp cock.
Yeah, like a little. What about like a little cushion that I can put under my nutsack?
No,
just when I
that's
sit
too
down.
expensive.
Like a little
American
nut
health
cushion.
care. Come on, dude. You
Can't
get the
they
So I
fucking
can get
legs or nothing.
advanced.
No,
prosthetic.
yeah, I mean it's so I cannot afford a handler, like a caretaker, to cup my
Yeah,
balls
cock
and
handler.
adjust them for me.
A big, strong man to put you in the chair delicately and gently.
Yeah, kiss me on the
Yeah.
head as he leaves.
I would do that for
comfy?
free if you lost your legs, Jackson. I'd want to. It sounds fun.
His name's
That's so sweet.
Cornelius. He doesn't speak English.
But he knows when to pick you up at the right time. He's very good at it. Oh,
Yeah.
The
fuck.
fuck is this? I think Andrew was right. Listen to this. This is from the University of Chicago. Bacteria know how to exploit quantum mechanics.
The fuck?
Exploit
Are
quantum
bacteria-
mechanics. Not only do they
Yeah,
understand it, they're using it against us.
Yeah, see, as Mother Nature gets bigger, shit breaks. Like, when you get down to the microscopic level, you can do all sorts of hacks. It's fucking awesome.
Wait, so bacteria? What does that even mean? Like they've got like supercomputers down in the bacteria level? Like
No,
What is
photosynthetic
quantum
organisms harvest light from the sun to produce energy they need to survive. A new paper published by the University of Chicago researchers reveals their secret, exploiting quantum mechanics. The scientific community saw quantum signatures generated in biological systems and asked the question, were the results just a coincidence of biology being built from molecules, or did they have a purpose? This is scary. I don't want to know this.
Oh.
Kill
I
them.
misinterpreted you reading that as they asked the bioorganisms, hey, is this a coincidence? Did you guys do this? Is this on
They
purpose?
They answered using their quantum machines.
There's a scientist in a lab in the University of Chicago right now. He's got a little stick and a microscope, and he's poking one of them like, hey, did you do this?
Like the crab torture.
Explain this, young man.
If these bacteria are so advanced that they're able to use quantum mechanics or exploiting quantum mechanics without even knowing, by the way, they're just accidentally stumbling upon it, it seems. Does that make them the perfect species? Are we lesser than the bacteria?
This sounds like some Flash superhero shit. They found that the bacterium uses a quantum mechanical effect called vibronic mixing to move energy between two different pathways, depending on whether or not there's oxygen around. Vibronic mixing involves vibrational and electronic characteristics in molecules coupling to one another. What the fuck?
There's gotta be either a very small god or intelligence that surpasses us at the micro level, because this reminds me of that experiment. Micro god. There has to be a micro, tiny, infinitesimal god. There has to be. Because there's also that experiment that they ran where they had a particle beam that operated either at like a quantum level or something similar. And when they looked at it, it was all random and jumbled. And then when they stopped looking at it, it was a perfect straight line. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about the observer effect.
The observer effect, yeah. And it's like they don't know what the fuck happened. How that makes any sense? Like, there has to be a tiny little white bearded fucking long flowing robed god who you can't see. He's too small, but he's just pulling the strings. Yeah, he's a gnome, a little gremlin going around the earth, and he's pulling all these weird little strings. He's like, you water bears, I give you the ability to live in space.
Bro, like 600 years ago, you would have so been a pope, because this is how all that shit started, is like because people didn't know about viruses and bacteria, and they just took a shit and wiped their asses with their hands, and they were like, why do we get sick? Must be the punishment from the gods, the magics.
I have always said that if this failed and my YouTube failed, I would make an incredible cult leader. I would get so many people to believe anything I fucking said. It would be so easy.
Drink my Kool-Aid. A bunch of dummies who've never heard of a bacteria before. There's got to be people like that, right?
Thank God for YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. Otherwise, Andrew would be a mass murderer, it sounds like.
Oh, probably. Oh, absolutely. My angle would be, it'd be so easy. My angle would be, for the modern world, I would just say it's the government. Oh, you see the microplastics? The government is intentionally putting that there to make us weaker. Drink my formulated juice that I make on cult property that costs $35 a cup. It's the only thing that's microplastic free. And what they don't know, of course, is that it's just bulk Kool-Aid that I buy at Costco down the street. You know?
Couldn't you do the opposite way and be like, the government is putting water in our plastic, chew on this, and like hand them a fucking Lego figure?
Just for my amusement. Yeah. Here, everyone, the food of the last month has been tainted by government overreach. Eat these placentas that I had donated. I'll watch.
I mean, to convince people, all you need to do is know their base, like, thoughts, basically, or like their biases, and then use their already existing enemies against them, basically. Like you said, if someone's like mistrustful of the government, then go to them and say the government's doing X or Y.
Yeah.
If someone's someone hates Hollywood or whatever, say it's the pedophiles in Hollywood doing it. They're putting the microplastics in our brain.
You're absolutely right. So I have my weird little fascinations I've talked about on the show, like North Korea being one of them. Another one is cults. I love cults. I've learned and studied a lot.
What's your favorite cult?
One of my favorites is Heaven's Magic or Heaven's Gate. I always forget the name because they released their music.
Heaven's Gate.
They released their music under a different name, but those are the ones who released the songs about like don't shop at the supermarket because the barcode was made by Satan. Whenever you scan products, it takes a part of your soul away. They sing
oh, nice.
Did Charlie make a monkey out of you? They're referring to Charles Darwin. It's an anti-evolution song, and their music's extremely fucking catchy. And at one point, I've sent it to you guys before. At one point, their guitarist was one of the guitarists from Fleetwood Mac who got caught up with them and did a bunch of recording sessions. But I love
Kathy
them.
Don't Go to the Supermarket. Right?
Yeah, Kathy Don't Go to the Supermarket. They made a fuckload of music albums that they would put out to try to indoctrinate people, and they're catchy as fuck. But
no, you're right. It was Heaven's Magic. Heaven's Gate is a completely different cult.
Heaven's Magic. It is Heaven's Magic. Because Heaven's Gate was the one where they did the whole, we're going to ride Halley's Comet off the Earth.
Yes,
Everyone
exactly.
kill
That's
yourself.
why I was confused. Because we did a Red Thread episode on Heaven's Gate, and I was like, I don't remember them singing songs like this.
Right. No, Heaven's Gate is the one where it was everyone wear the same sneakers, everyone wear these Adidas tracksuits, we're all going to die and go ride Halley's Comet. And fun fact, like you can still buy some of their sneakers on eBay today, and I was tempted to get a pair just to have. But the thing with cults that a lot of people misinterpret, especially from media, is most people join them don't start crazy or believing the wacko shit. It's typically like loners, people in bad spots, people with depression, and the cult just shows up and goes, "Hey, you want some friends? Do you want to come hang out? We have a little get together. We have a Sunday barbecue, and everyone's invited." And it's just for 10, 20 minutes a day. We also talk about this radical new life philosophy we heard of. Maybe you're interested. I don't know. But I heard that your boyfriend broke up with you. We've got some hot single men there. You want to talk to them? They're willing. And it's typically people who fall for that kind of thing. And then they show up, and after a few months on the compound, they go, oh, I don't need to leave. Grandmaster Johnson has provided my food, my living quarters, my friends. Why would I ever leave? I don't need the internet or TV.
Just like dating, isn't it? You don't bring out all of your dirty laundry and creepy habits on the first date.
Exactly.
You save
exactly.
it. When she's already into you, then you can reveal your Lego obsession or whatever the fuck it may be.
Then you start going, I need all of your salary to praise Ziska Bob living up in the fourth parallel of Zooduplex. Like, that's when you start saying it and they believe it.
But really, like Kai said, you're just buying Lego sets with the money. I've been there. I know what it's like. That's probably why you're so successful at dating, Andrew, is because you cult them.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I manipulate people very well.
Yeah, it wasn't a compliment. That wasn't a
groomer.
Whoa, groomer. Hey, hang on. I do not associate with groomer. That's got a much different
just
connotation.
Cult leader.
Cult leader I will take. I will 100% say, sure. Yeah, join my cult. It'll be fun.
Do you find the idea of being a cult leader sexy? Is there some like sexiness to the power control element of it? Or like what do you like about the idea of being a cult leader?
So if you're talking about my fascination, and I think it ties back to North Korea as well and certain other things, I admire, for a better term, lack of a better term, real world building. Because using North Korea as an example, they have an entire Bible that they have written about their leaders. All these weird, crazy things, like fucking Kim Jong-il played a perfect game of golf on his first attempt. He is a world-renowned basketball player. But they get people to believe it. Not most people, but they get people to really buy into it and think it's real. And I think it's just fucking incredible that you can create such outlandish things and get people to believe them and follow them, And
not to sound like a Reddit atheist or whatever, but do you think that same way about religion in general? Like just the concept?
Do we want to open this can of worms? Yeah, do we really want to go down this road?
Well, I mean, it is.
All
really
right, Jackson and I have an announcement to make. If you listen to this show and you're religious, you're a butt fucking moron. Just stupid. I think everything you believe is wrong.
I used to think that way, like growing up. Like, how could you believe in that? But nowadays, I'm like, believing in something sounds cool. I want to believe in something. I want to be able to believe in something.
Yeah,
because it does give you like pretty strong values and stuff.
Sure. I'm not personally religious in any facet. I don't believe anything. None of it's ever worked. I've had hundreds of talks with people I know who are very religious on their beliefs and whatever. The thing that I do like about religion and find interesting is when you look at all of the history as moral fables, they're pretty kick-ass. Like imagine if there was, just to fucking put it in Reddit terms, imagine if there was a Superman comic and Lois Lane shows up and goes, Superman, we looked at global warming and the Earth's going to flood for 40 days and 40 nights. And Superman goes, I know what to do. And he builds a boat for 2 of every animal. Like, that's fun. That's just a fun, entertaining story that can maybe have a moral, where modern day it would be, hey, climate change sucks. And maybe back in biblical times it would be worship God and don't be an asshole or he'll flood the world.
Build more
when
boats.
You look at it from that perspective, I think it's fun. I think it can be a very positive, life affirming thing,
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
I agree. I think it's cool. I think it's cool, like you said, like so many people believe this thing and there's a sense of community around religion that I find very maybe endearing is not the right word, but like encouraging. Like I like to believe that we can come together. Obviously human nature prevails ultimately, and due to different religions existing, there's always going to be conflict and stuff like that. But I still don't think, like, I think we wouldn't be where we are as humanity if we didn't have like religion kind of guiding us in the early stages of our civilization, basically. So,
religion was the first nuclear deterrent. So these days, these big governments and big political moves sometimes don't happen because the threat of nuclear warfare, especially since 1940s. Oh, hey, we're not going to invade Russia because they got nukes, like Cold War. We got nukes. Well, we have nukes. Well, we'll just nuke each other. We'll fucking glass the planet. Okay, well, let's not fight. That's a bad idea. But back in the past, it was, hey, dude, God is watching. Careful now.
Oh, okay.
God
I thought you
sees
meant
how
it's
you're
more
acting.
like it's more like no one to attack us. We've got God on our side, and then it's like,
Well, that's
oh,
part of it
shit.
too. Well, no, that's part of
It's
it
like,
too,
wait,
isn't it? Think about it. If you can-
wait. It's like
Yeah.
it's like that country. We got to attack that country first though, because they're developing God powers or whatever. They're developing God. If they get to religion, then they're going to be on
AI.
equal footing.
It's like a game of civilization. Fuck, they built the Great Pyramids before us. We missed out on the culture bonus. We got to kill them.
They created God as well. We didn't
Yeah.
take him out quick enough.
But no, by that I mean it was an authority figure for everyone. You know, if you start a village back in the past and it's just, okay, you know, you tend the farm work, I'll do the animals, you build the houses, and someone goes, no, I don't want to. It was, come on, you're being a dick. That's kind of as far as you can go. Maybe kick them in the ass a bit. But when you have a society with religion, it goes, that's not what God wants you to do. You're going to burn in hell if you don't build that building, because that's the community effort. Read the Bible. And God goes, yeah, good point. I don't want to
Build
burn in
boats.
hell. I'll build a boat. Fuck it. Now, this is oversimplified. Of course, history is not remotely that straightforward and simple, but it acts as a good community builder, like you were saying, Jackson. It's a very good way to bring people together under the name of a god or a faith or, a united cause. And that was very good in more primitive society when we didn't have more secular driving forces like money and economics and political powers and whatnot, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
That was my pretentious corner. Stay tuned when I talk next about why communism will never work next episode.
Well, why? Now I'm curious. Why will communism never
Just
work?
talking out of my ass. I don't know.
What do you
we
got, Kaya?
need
You got?
we need a
anything?
topic.
Any thoughts on the subject?
I mean, I concur, obviously. I grew up in the atheist hardcore era of the internet. You know, that was
Same,
my
yeah.
first contact with the internet and probably the English language. I just used to watch a shit ton of Christopher Hitchens debates, Daniel Dennett, Sam Harris versus all sorts of priests and pastors and shit. It's an interesting debate. I definitely see to me, religion is like accumulated wisdom.
Sure.
You crack open the book and you see a few anecdotes and parables and you go, well, this doesn't make sense. And as it turns out, it sometimes does when you're talking about people from 2,000 years ago who all they had to go by was, well, this guy did this thing that we're now forbidding and he died. So we're going to write this down.
Mhm.
2,000 years later, it doesn't make as much sense anymore. But, there was meaning behind it. It's the same thing where I don't like people who immediately shit on tradition. Like marriage, they shit on marriage. What an antiquated institution. And just all it does is oppress women. It's just meant to oppress women. And then you look into it and you realize, well, actually, marriage might have a point. It gives people some security, especially the woman, so the man can't just bang the secretary and run away.
Which
some
still
traditions
happens in
have
marriage, by
value.
the way. I think that's a bad example because a lot of marriages end in divorce due to infidelity and banging secretaries.
They end in
But
divorce.
they
The point
also
of marriage
bring-
isn't that you cannot divorce. The point is that you are now liable. You have to pay the woman her due.
Yeah,
Right.
and for a lot of people, such as in Kaya's perspective, it brings them closer together because it feels like a next step, a stronger bond. And then, religion is a tool. Like marriage, some people treat it as, hey, let's get married and get tax benefits, or oh, we may as well. And other people treat it as it's a holy union designed to bring us closer together. But religion is a tool in that you'll have countries killing each other over their beliefs. You'll have people committing horrible atrocities in the name of God. But at the same time, and to give a personal example, my dad died in 2020 of cancer, and my mom, few years later, remarried to married a new man. And he's very religious. My stepdad is very religious. He goes to church every single Sunday. He does services there on other days, all this stuff. And she's been joining him. And I will tell you, every time I talk to my mom, all she ever says is, I've made so many friends. Everyone here is so nice. It's so good to have, ways to get out of the house and go do stuff. And it's added a ton to her life. And none of it is negative. I'm not ever going to sit there as someone who doesn't believe and say, well, you're being indoctrinated, Mom. Because I think that the benefits for her are far outweighing any of that debate kind of stuff.
Would you do that? Would you do that? Would you feel the same if she joined Heaven's Magic?
I might say something. I don't know. I might say
Church of
She's like, everyone's so
Scientology.
nice there.
well, yeah, if she was at the
Everyone's so nice, and
Scientology
they tell
meetings,
me
I might be like,
friends.
Mom, I really have to talk to you. It's urgent.
She just has L. Ron Hubbard posters.
She gives me Dianetics for Christmas. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. Ah, jeez. But, you know, it's a tool like any other. You can use it for good and you can use it for bad. And that applies person to person, you know.
Yeah. What would you actually do if your mum did get indoctrinated into a cult, though?
I think I would stage a fucking coup and try to get her the fuck out of there as fast as I could.
You really can't, because then they use that kind of interventionism as an example of them being correct, and you just further radicalize them, for, I think, lack of a better word. But yeah, like it further like entombs them into the cult psychology. How do you successfully deprogram someone?
You just have to cut off their contact with that cult.
I thought you were going to say cut off their limbs. We were going back to cannibalism for a second.
Put them in the put them their eyeballs in the jar and force them to play a
make it
sim.
impossible for them to walk to the cult compound. Basically, just remove their legs and arms, and we've got a solution. No, but so cults have always interested me, yeah, but also just the concept of then needing to deprogram them after cult members after, or even obviously during, like that's always been an interesting concept to me, because it seems like such an impossible task to me, that and we see that because like not magic, what was it called, Heaven's Gate, like cult members still exist to this day. Like people think that they all died, they didn't. There were some that still remain, that still believe in the Heaven's Gate ideology. As well. They're not, you know, they haven't changed their mind really. So even beyond Heaven's Gate's mission being completed and proved to be wrong or whatever, there's still people that believe in the cult's ideology.
Scientology, I think, is the greatest example. You have so many documentaries and proven cases of people escaping it now, people who are born to it as children, and then they get the fuck out of there. All these horror stories of things they do, and yet there's still Scientology complexes everywhere. There's still new buildings, new infrastructure, new members joining.
Yeah, but they're really demoralized. I've been in one. I don't know if you guys remember, I told you when I was in California, I saw one. And I told Doug, you want to go in? He said, yeah, sure, fuck it. And all they do is show you clips of someone talking about like atoms and Dianetics on a TV as like a very elderly, bored woman narrates something that she doesn't even understand herself clearly, reading from a brochure. They don't get your name, your phone number, nothing. It's very sad. I don't know. They've been like very demoralized, I think. Scientology is not what it used to be.
Yeah, I think it was more prevalent in the 90s and the early 2000s maybe, and then it's kind of waned since they haven't adopted to the social media age. They've been coaxing by on the, you know, the heels of like Tom Cruise and shit like that. And then
their reputation is also very strongly damaged. I mean, Kai was talking about growing up in the like super hardcore atheism era of the internet. I mean, Scientology was their number one target. You would see online all sorts of posts where it's like, this woman was kidnapped by Scientology and here's the terrible things they did to her. And they just get millions and millions and millions of views back then, when that was a lot more of an achievement, you know? So I can't imagine they've ever recovered from that. Who the fuck likes Scientology these days except the people in it, you know?
No one. I really think the only people other than me and Doug that entered that store ever was like people seeking refuge from the rain, maybe. Like it was such a ghost town. I really don't think they have many members left. Maybe like diehards like Tom, but that's about it. And even Tom Cruise has shut the fuck up about it since.
Yeah. That desperate to escape like the rain that you join a cult. You go in and just like actually join them.
Yeah, just sit in their fucking cafeteria where they give you free coffee.
That's so funny.
They should just be extremely nice. Like you walk in and go, "Hey, buddy, do you want a blanket? We're giving away free tote bags. By the way, who's your afterlife savior?" Oh man,
it's just gonna be full of loiterers.
Do you guys ever want to like, you know, like, I don't know, test yourself basically, like join a cult and see if you can be indoctrinated successfully?
I would be leader within a month.
Yeah, that would be so fucking easy. It's like those, again, the era that I grew up in, there was also still the belief that like hypnosis is a real thing rather than a fucking clown show circus act.
Sure.
And They actually took like, you know, those TV hypnotists where they would have literal TV shows of the guy supposedly picking a woman out of the audience and you're a chicken now. And then she would go like, "Bakak." They like science took that so seriously. They actually ran studies, and turns out that if you just sit like across a normal human who's expecting you to hypnotize them, it just doesn't work. They just laugh at you and go, "This is fucking gay. What are you doing with the little pendulum? Like, this isn't working. Are you retarded?" It's one of the pseudoscientific, it's genuinely retarded how stupid we were even like 4 decades ago. Which
We're
you would
so much
think is the
smarter
modern
now.
age, where my wife and I were having to do really long drives. So at some point I was so fucking desperate for just anything to distract us. I actually went on Apple Podcasts to subscribe to one of those like normie slop networks, like the Wondery or whatever the fuck it's called. They had a show about the BTK killer, the guy who would like strangle people and their children.
Bind, torture, kill.
Yeah, Bind, Torture, Kill, Dennis Rader, one of the like scummiest monsters to ever been born on Earth. But anyway, the point is, at some point, the police hired a medium to sleep in the house of the victims and see if she can like conjure any of the spirits and talk to them about how they got murdered and who it was. Like, that's how fucking dumb we used to be.
If I was desperate for answers and stuff, I'd probably do shit like that.
Now, yes, Jackson.
Just
I
out
totally
of
see
pure
that
desperation.
viewpoint. I totally see that viewpoint. But I see that viewpoint, but I think that's horrifically predatory on grief. Like, we should not ever give those people like, don't ever give them a job. Don't ever let them in, because all you're doing is just trying to find some solace for the victims or closure, when in fact it's impeding actual investigation. You know,
well, you wouldn't be saying that if the mentalist or whatever the fuck it was went in there and she's immediately like, "It was Dennis Rader. He lives here. Go find him now."
Yeah, but she didn't.
If science and fairy tales combined and psychics were real and the most powerful people on the planet, Jackson, I might change my mind. Who knows?
You know, even back in the day when I was a kid, they had Monk on TV, and when Monk ended, they had a spin-off called Psych. And the premise of it, for those who haven't seen the show...
Both great shows, by the way, I just want to say.
Both great shows.
Both great shows.
Both great shows, they're fun, but the premise of Psych was, it was this young, super intelligent detective guy, very young, but he was worried that no one would take him seriously if he just proved how smart he was and could solve cases. So he just pretended to be psychic. And that was the gag of the show. Every episode, he would solve a murder and he would have to pretend like it just came to him in a dream or whatever. And meanwhile, I was just sitting there thinking, like, just tell the cops you're really smart. Like, just tell them how you deducted this.
Yeah, what's the point?
It was pretty silly, because his whole shtick was he was hyper-perceptive. He had a hyper-perception of the world. So, for example, he would watch, let's say, a cop walk into the station and go, "Oh, I was just interviewing the family's victims." And he would look at his fingernails and see traces of dirt. And he would go, "No, you were burying something out back. What was it? Are you the murderer?" But instead of doing it that way... Yeah,
that is very stupid.
Is smart and logical and really well done. He would put his fingers to his head and go, "I'm seeing a vision. I'm seeing dirt, and it involves you, officer." It was stupid. It was so stupid.
Wait,
it was fun, but it was stupid.
That's broadly stupid anyway. Like, he could have got dirt under his fingernails any time within the last, like, 3 weeks.
Okay, I'm paraphrasing the show. It was much more cleverly written than that.
Okay,
but
I thought you were, like, giving a direct
But the
example.
premise was that back in the... Like, this was a believable TV show premise where the cops actually took mediums and psychics seriously. Another one of my favorite examples of how criminals are actually fucking low IQ and they only got away with it because cops are also stupid. To catch Dennis Rader, what they did was during ad breaks on TV... they would insert one single frame into the advertising saying, "Turn yourself in." Not a joke. They inserted the text, "Turn yourself in between like an ad for Coca-Cola or whatever. And the idea was that they were going to subconsciously manipulate him into giving himself up.
Well, what about every other criminal?
Work, but they got 568 false positives.
Or just not even false positive. What if it was successful and every criminal fucking turned themselves in at like the same time? We should
just brazen beat people with that. Every TV commercial should have a 2-second slot that just says "turn yourself in," regardless of what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it.
Crime rates drastically reduced.
It'd work on me.
Didn't the IRS have like a program saying if you've acquired any stolen items, you have to report it to the IRS as income. It's like, who the fuck?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
There was also that really
I'll
good
get on
one.
that.
There was that good one. I think it was a police department in Texas. And it was like, have you just made a drug purchase and you're afraid it might be cut with something lethal like bleach or chlorine? Take it down to this precinct and we'll test it for you. Make sure it's
So
legit.
fucking funny. I kind of get the idea, maybe not the subliminal messaging aspect of it, but I do kind of get the idea of putting it in the advertisements because I don't even have to be watching, like, actually watching the ads to be influenced by them. Like, sometimes it'll just be a Coke, like you said, Coke ad on in the background, and I'm sure people are indirectly influenced to then have Coke or buy Coke.
Well, yeah, but that isn't really subliminal at all. It's okay. We're going to edit the fizz in this Coke commercial just at the right frequency, where like it'll permeate the apartment. So even if somebody's in the kitchen not listening, they're still gonna hear the fizz, and it's gonna like Pavlovian trigger them to want to have a cold Coke. I get that, but these guys just flashed the fucking card in the middle of the ad, just saying "turn yourself in," and they expected it to work.
They should have been more direct. They should have said, if you're the bind, torture, what is it? Bind, torture.
Bind, torture,
if you're the bind, torture, kill criminal, turn yourself into the police department. Here's directions to your local precinct. And they should have just kept that on the screen for 20 seconds. That would have worked better.
It would have worked even better if they put for a free Coke at the end as well.
Yeah, the little fizz, so that he would want a Coke at the precinct. He knows there's a vending machine there.
He knows the only place to get a Coke is at the precinct. Dude, if I turn myself in though and they only serve Pepsi there, I'd burn the place down.
Ooh. Or like off-brand, not even Pepsi.
This isn't relevant to what we're talking about, but like more and more places are starting to offer exclusively Pepsi, and I'm about to fucking flip.
Do you like Coke?
Oh, I like Coke. Coke is probably the only like non-water drink that I drink.
That doesn't matter that much to you. Do you like have a fat soul? Because
How
I
are
don't
you
give
not
a
huge?
fuck.
I don't know what that has to, what my fat soul. What does that mean?
Yeah, because I know you're not fat, but this is something that like a 600-pound person on TLC would say. It's like, I can't have Pepsi. I want my Coca-Cola.
Yeah, well, okay, so when I'm eating a meal, I'll have a Coke because I drink water the rest of the day. I drink exclusively water every other moment of the day. So I'll exclusively have a single Coke with like dinner, basically. So if I go out and I'm having a meal at a restaurant or whatever, and I go in there for my one soda per day, which I could do without. I could absolutely do without. It's just a habit, really. But like,
Junkie.
if they only serve Pepsi, I'll like 50% of me wants to just go to a different place at that point.
Really?
Jesus.
Yeah.
The whole meal is ruined if they have Pepsi?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's not even the fact that it's not even the Pepsi or Coke thing, really. It's just the idea of this restaurant forcing me to make that choice and not just offering
They're
both
not
choices.
forcing you. Just get water.
I mean, I do a lot of. I do.
Be an adult.
If they serve Pepsi,
okay,
then
Pepsi's
I take
fine,
water.
sure. Jackson, you know who you are. You're the guy from those comedy skits you see all over YouTube, where the waiter comes up and goes, "Oh, we don't have Coke. Is Pepsi okay?" And they go, "No," and they leave. That's you.
Well, well, if that happens and I'm already sitting down at the table, then I'm going to eat there. I'm not going to make
you're
it.
gonna give
You're
out a
the
huff
reason-
sigh and just be like, "Oh, fine."
I'm the reason that
You're-
exclusivity exists. I know. Yes.
Yeah, clearly. You're the reason waiters have to timidly ask, like when I say, "Can I get a Coke?" and they go, "We have Pepsi, is that okay?" And I'm like, who gives a shit? Just, yeah. Who cares? Why are you asking?
There's human beings
I
like
don't.
you.
No, I don't make a scene. I don't, make waiters uncomfortable or anything. I don't huff and puff. Like, I'll just order a water then.
Stiff
Then
them.
again, Jackson does, to be fair, order the chicken nuggies off the menu every single time. So it's kind of a moot point.
It directly influences my choice if I'm going to eat somewhere a lot of the time. Like KFC, I won't have
my
because
God.
KFC, I won't have.
Do you call beforehand and like ask, do you guys serve Coke?
Do you have a fancy
No.
steakhouse restaurant dinner set up for that night and you arrive there and they go, "Oh, we have Pepsi products," and you just start cold sweating like, "Oh, this is going to taste like shit. It's all ruined."
If I know a place beforehand only serves Pepsi, then I'll be less likely to go there. Yeah. unless they
my
have
God.
incredible food. Unless their food is incredible.
Oh my
But-
God.
But what? Like, I don't go to KFC because they have Pepsi. I go to a different fast food place.
At that point, can't you just bring your own Coke, I guess?
Yeah, smuggle
less-
it in.
Okay, it's less that I like Coke and more that I hate Pepsi. I fucking hate the taste of Pepsi. It tastes so bad.
Don't drink it.
I don't drink it. I choose not to. That's my point.
So what do you
Okay,
drink in that
wait,
scenario? Jackson, you've just met Mr. Hayashida. He's a business bigwig from Tokyo.
He owns Pepsi?
He says, "Listen, Jackson, I'm willing to invest $10 million in your podcast, but we have to eat at the American restaurant KFC. I hear that they have the best Pepsi." And you go in and you're at this dinner. What do you do? Like, what do you order in
What
that
do you
meal?
mean? I obviously order water or something. I said that. I'm totally
But
fine
that
with
makes
having.
no sense to me. Why would you downgrade to water instead of just taking the side grade of Pepsi?
It's because Pepsi is worse than water to me. It's like tastes rancid.
That just
it tastes gross.
Kaya, am I insane? That makes
Rancid.
so little sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, to me, all soda is just, okay, fizzy slop that I'm going to drink.
Yeah, soda is
Yeah, there's
soda.
better and worse slop, but like okay, maybe I'm not the best authority on it though, because I'm also the kind of person where like I cannot tell the difference at all between like the 80 flavors of Monster, even though every can is a different color.
Can you
it's
tell
just
the
all
difference
tastes the
between
same to me.
Pepsi and Coke?
I can.
I mean, I can, but it's like just such an insignificant difference to me.
Okay, no, it's significant to me. It is very significant. Like the taste
Damn.
difference is significant.
All right,
to me.
describe Coke and Pepsi's taste.
Okay,
to us
Coke
right
tastes
now.
like I'm like falling through beautiful clouds and I'm like lifted up by
Okay.
God Himself into
God.
heaven.
Okay.
Pepsi feels like I've put a sounding rod down my dick hole and twisted it.
Is it
What is
that
wrong with
drastic
you?
of a difference? I
It
wouldn't
is.
imagine it is.
This has to be an OCD thing. This is psychological.
It might be. I mean, it might be just mental illness or whatever. I don't know. But
Did you get
it's a
molested
thing.
by like a Pepsi delivery man or something?
Pepsi man, yeah, you got to me.
I have the best idea that if I gave you Pepsi and told you it was Coke, you would drink it happily. You might say, "Oh, this Coke's a little off, maybe a little flat," but you would not give a fuck. I would.
No,
bet
I would
you.
know. I've done this test before. I would absolutely know. You know immediately.
Jackson,
I
if
know-
you're the one who pours the cups, you know which one is which. It doesn't count.
Well, obviously, I'm saying other people pouring it. Yes, like I can test it right now and know the difference immediately. They taste very distinct. They do. Do you not drink a lot? You probably don't drink a lot of soda, Andrew. Maybe.
I haven't drank a soda in like 6 years. So
Yeah. Well, then neither of you, I would say, are authorities on the matter. Like Pepsi. Sorry, Coke is like the only other drink that I drink other than water. And before people say
Yeah,
that
but-
I'm like I have a fat soul or whatever, no, I drink maybe one a day.
Fat soul. I'm not saying they don't taste different at all or that you can't tell the difference. I'm just saying it is such a like insignificant difference.
All right, Jackson.
It's like if you told me that you like one
Hmm.
brand of salt but hate the other so much. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, it's table salt. Just put it on
Yeah,
your
but
steak.
if one of the salt
being
tasted
extra.
like my arsehole, then you would make the distinction, and that's what it is.
well, that
It's
would
just
taste delicious.
Pepsi,
That's a
though.
really bad example.
Yeah, sorry.
Jackson, I'm going to ruin this election with a third party candidate. What about like RC Cola or generic store cola? What
Oh,
about
those are-
those?
Yeah, I remember. Well, because I grew up in, I'm not gonna like not lower income, but yeah, we definitely took advantage of budget stuff from
Sure.
grocery stores and shit like that. So yeah, I had a lot of that kind of stuff growing up, and I would immediately be able to tell the difference between that and Coke. 100%.
But do you like it, you know?
No, not really. No, I wouldn't choose.
I'm with
to have it,
Jackson
no.
on that one.
Okay.
The thing with like Coke alternatives is that even the good ones, supposedly good ones, suck. Like Andrew,
Well, then what the
You
fuck
know
are you
Whole
complaining
Foods-
about? You agree with me. You agree with me.
no, yeah, okay, I'm about to explain it to you. Andrew, you've been to Whole Foods, I'm sure. You know how
Oh, yeah.
Whole Foods is like all extra, and they're like, we don't carry Coca-Cola, and then you go, okay,
Mhm.
whatever. What is the Whole Foods knockoff version of Coke? Can you show me that? And then they bring you these cans that are just like, this has what's that fucking plant? That sugar plant they put it in?
Stevia.
Instead of sugar?
Stevia.
Stevia, yeah, stevia,
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
is. Tastes like garbage. You pour it into a cup, and it's like clear Coke, which is like immediately just throws you off.
Ew.
Like, ugh.
That
I
is
know.
weird.
That's wrong. You just sit there like, this should
Yeah.
have food coloring in it. Come
Everyone
on. now.
knows that the lemon lime sodas, Sprite, Sierra Mist, all those are allowed to be clear, but colas have to always be
Yeah.
dark color. Like otherwise
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
colas.
When
Colas.
it's clear, it is just that, at that point, I just feel like I'm drinking some sort of like ants juice or something. That's disgusting. But my
Yeah.
point is, with those, you can tell. with the like Whole Foods brands or really cheap, low budget brands that are just knockoffs,
Sure.
you can tell. But Pepsi is just close enough. Like Pepsi is
don't-
90%
you don't
of the
drink
way
enough.
there
You
to
don't drink
Coke.
enough.
Jackson,
You're
does
not
this
like
hit
me.
I drink
you? Does
Coke.
this hit you with other brands? Like, will you sit down and have a Sprite, but if they bring
No.
you Sierra Mist, you're like, oh fuck. Ugh.
No, I genuinely don't drink other sodas. I've hated every other soda that I've had, basically.
Oh, that's just wrong. That's just stupid.
I just do.
That's
I
the
just
worst
do
one.
hate them. I don't know what to say.
How do you
This
feel about
man, oh man.
what about Coke flavored stuff like Coke gummies?
No.
Gummy
Mm,
bears
Or
with
those
Coca-Cola.
Coke flavored Oreos that
No.
came out a long
Ew.
while ago that everyone hated.
Or the
No.
Oreo flavored Coke? Do you
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
like
that also everyone
flavors?
hated.
No, the most I'll go.
I liked it.
The most
Really?
I'll go for Coke alternatives or Coke differences or Coke infused like things is like.
Do you do Coke freestyle? Like, do you get vanilla Coke or any of that shit?
Oh, I used to like vanilla Coke. Yeah, growing up.
Do you like
Yeah,
vanilla
me too.
Pepsi?
I never tried vanilla Pepsi, but I assume.
We might have an in. Go to a restaurant and
big
get a
it.
vanilla Pepsi, or go to a store and get a vanilla Pepsi. That might be your
Yeah,
in.
man, I remember loving vanilla Coke growing up. I don't know what happened to it. Or
It's in Coke freestyle now.
They still have
What's
it.
Coke freestyle?
Well, at least here they do.
what's
But Jackson, you can also
Yeah.
just buy vanilla essence in any store in the
Mhm.
bakery section. Just put vanilla essence in your Coke. You
I
can make
don't
your
know.
forgot,
What-
Jackson.
what
I
I-
apologize. I forgot that you're from a land that only invented water plumbing like 10 years ago. So Coke Freestyle is a giant, big machine that you get your ice from it. Like it has an ice dispenser,
Oh,
like a
yep,
regular
yep,
soda machine. Yeah, but then it has a touch screen and it says, "How would
different
you like your
flavors.
soda, sir?" And it has like hundreds of combinations. If you go to Coke
Yeah.
in there, they've got like 10 different flavored Cokes and
Yeah,
vanilla is in there.
I remember seeing those in America when I went last.
Yeah, they don't have those in Australia, really?
I mean, they might in the cities and stuff, but I don't notice them.
Because they've been around since like the late 2000s. They're not new.
I don't know. There's
Huh.
probably somewhere around here that does them. I don't know.
Huh.
What was I going to say? Vanilla Coke. Where were we going with that?
I was asking if you like any like Coke offshoots or
Yes.
just,
So the only other way that I'll have Coke in any other form of the just having it any other way is like a bit of ice cream in it, like spiders. That's the only other
What?
way.
What?
Bit of ice.
What?
Do you guys not have spiders in America?
What is happening?
We have spiders,
Floats.
but
What does
I'm
that
really
mean?
concerned about what the fuck you're talking about.
Floats. What do you mean?
What?
You drink
ice-
Coke with ice cream and spiders?
No, just ice cream. Just ice cream. Are they not called spiders over in America? Floats, maybe.
No.
I think floats.
Oh, float. Yes,
Yes,
we have
yes.
we have root beer and Coke floats. That's a
Yeah.
thing. We don't
Why
call
would
them
you call them
spiders because that's
spiders?
the
I don't know
animal,
why
you
they're called
idiot.
spiders either, but they're called spiders over here.
What
But
the
regardless,
fuck?
regardless, I have I'll have one of those maybe once every few years, but that's about
What
it.
is that? That doesn't even like act like a spider. Like if it acted like an animal, like if you called it a dolphin because it bobs the ice cream in the water, I'd get it. But what does a spider have to do with bobbing in liquid?
I have no clue. Why are they
You
called
guys,
spiders?
you guys are so weird.
Okay, ice cream float on Wikipedia. An ice cream float or ice cream soda, also known as an ice cream spider in Australia and New Zealand.
Why?
I don't know. It's one of those things where I've never thought about it because it's just my life.
It's the Australian creed.
Yeah. Like why are we doing it
Fucking
this way?
dumb. Hey guys, do you sprinkle cockroaches on your bread?
Oh, we call that sprinkles over
Why
here.
are
You know.
spiders called spiders?
Oh, that's so
in
weird.
Australia and New Zealand.
Time to
drink.
consult AI. Why
Yeah, that's
do
what I'm doing.
Aussies call
I'm
ice
doing it.
cream floats?
And I'll look up nudes
Porn.
of Laura Croft from
Yeah, I knew
Tomb Raider.
Because of the foamy web-like froth created when the ice cream mixes with the fizzy drink. Some say the
Oh,
bubbly
it's like a
foam
web.
strands look a bit like spider legs or webs, which led to the name spider.
That's stupid. You guys are actually just stupid. I can't believe that's your language. Good lord.
I don't know. Probably started as a joke and then just existed forever.
Like your country.
Yep, we're still trucking along. Perfectly fine. All right, you guys got anything else before we wrap?
I can't wait to visit Australia. It's going to be fun.
I can't wait for
can
you to
wrap.
come. I want to show you the place. I want to make you
Yeah.
drink spiders.
I want to. No, I really do want to see it. I want to go. I want to experience what the fuck you guys call the English language firsthand.
I really would love you guys to come over eventually, both of you. All right. Should we wrap?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you very much for joining us for this week's episode of the official podcast. We're still going. We really do appreciate all the support. You guys make it possible. Show us to some friends. Send us to some family members. If you've got a mum that's cool and radical, send her this episode and make her listen to it. Official.men for bonus stuff, as well as patreon.com/theofficialpodcast. Early access to our shows. Criminally Stupid's back. Red Thread is back. I'm still working on getting Real Boys back. We're just kind of like slowly rebooting after everything that, the giant break that we took, slowly bringing everything back online, but it's all coming, and it'll all be over on patreon.com/theofficialpodcast and official.men. We prefer official.men, but whatever site you want to use is great.
Same benefits at official.men if you sign up there, except Patreon doesn't take a giant cut and hit us with all their weird censorship stuff every now and then.
Yeah.
So consider that if you think of making the switch. Men benefits us a lot more, and potentially you, depending on the content of the episodes.
Men
And hey, not to push you guys into an uncomfortable environment, but head on over to my subreddit and check out that post, the cold opening from before. It's on the Reddit, as well as just hang out there and share some more memes and stuff, and we might bring them on the show next time as well.
Ugh.
Thank you very much for joining us.
The Reddit. You can also just tweet stuff at us if you don't want to use
whatever.
gross websites.
Or and Jackson told me this. He said go to his house and pitch them firsthand. He loves when people do that.
Ooh, yeah. Bring Pepsi.
Do.
Yeah, and
Fly
bring Pepsi
all the way to Australia.
It's his tribute. It's his gift just for him.
No, go to Reddit or Twitter. Not my house. Please leave me alone. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.